everybody, and welcome to another week of Makers Monday. I am Anastasia Radloff, aka Stampin' Blondie, and I'm excited to be back here with you for another week of live step-by-step crafting. I hope you all had an amazing weekend. It was pretty hot here in Korea, so we just kind of stayed at home and hung around the house. It was about in the mid 90s this past weekend, so definitely just kind of stayed at home, read my books, did some crafting, so definitely a great relaxing weekend. Now, if you're watching, I'm live here on Facebook and also over on YouTube as well. So if you're watching, make sure to comment, say hi, let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where everybody is joining me from each week. All right, let me just make sure. Yep, I'm live on YouTube. Let's refresh Facebook, and we are live there too. So I am going to close my laptop here just to save some of that bandwidth and kind of put my laptop away. There we go. All right, so today we're going to be creating projects featuring the Thoughtful Octopus stamp set. Now this stamp set does not have any coordinating dies or designer series paper to go along with it, so it's fun to kind of pull things from other suites to be able to create projects with this stamp set. Now the Thoughtful Octopus is an online exclusive item, so you will find that not in any of our current catalogs. And let's go ahead and swap the camera and I can kind of show you what it looks like here. There we go. Uh-oh, looks like my camera up top is frozen. Let's see, what do I need to do to unfreeze that? Let's see. Nope. Huh, just a second. Let me see if it says something up here. Oh, weird. It's live on my phone. Let's see if I can do something about that here. Let's see. Let's see, iPhone 2. Let's see if that works. Trying to kind of connect the second phone. We may have to just do a recording this week if it's not connecting. Huh. I had it all ready to go too on my camera. It was all ready and now it's, for some reason, it is not wanting to connect. Let's check up here. Let's see. Let's disconnect. There we go. Let's disconnect it there. So let me try this again. Okay. Have to zoom in so you don't see my dirty desktop. Let's see, that should work. Let's zoom out a little bit and a little bit more. Okay, hopefully that works. Let's see, let me know in the comments if you can see my hands right now. I'm showing it that it is live on my screen here, so hopefully it is live for you guys too. Like I said, I closed my laptop, so I'm filming with my iPad at my face and my phone above, so I can't, check. So if you can see my hands right now, give me a thumbs up or let me know in the comments, just so we can get going there. Hopefully that works. Well, we will, okay, good. Thank you. She says all good. I can see you moving. Perfect. Okay. Let's get back there and we're gonna do this. And there we go. Now you can see both. Okay, so that was weird. I've never had the camera just disconnect in the middle, but now I know for next time what to do. Cool. Okay, Thoughtful Octopus is our stamp set that we're gonna be working with today. 23 stamps, completely see-through and clear photopolymer. I chose this stamp set because of the punny sentiments that go along with it. I love a good stamp set that has images and sentiments all in one. So if you were working with this stamp set, all you needed to do was pull this out and you had all the stamps that you needed. So some of the punny sentiments that I like is, if I could hug you with 8 arms, I would. You octopi my thoughts. So I just love punny sentiments, and this little octopus, you can put a face on it and it's just really cute. So yesterday on my website, here on Facebook as well and Instagram, I shared this project. Now last week I showed you the hot foil machine, and we did a couple of run-throughs with that so you could see how it worked. And this was actually one of the pieces of paper that I showed you for that. So I took the hot foil background, I stamped the octopus in Lemon Lime Twist, Coastal Cabana, and Gorgeous Grape, added the little faces on all the guys, and the paper that I'm using for all these projects today is the Scenic Coast Designer Series paper. It works perfectly with the octopus theme and the ocean, and I really liked the pearl sheen that's on the paper. So that's what I kind of showed you for a little sneak peek, and I used some of that hot foil that we used last week. Now for our 3 projects today, I found this project on the Stampin' Up! Website. If you look up the Thoughtful Octopus stamp set, this project shows up as a kind of example of what you can make with it. So I'm going to show you how to make this project. Very fun. Now unfortunately there aren't any coordinating dies to go along with this, so we will have to do some fussy cutting. But that's okay. It's quite easy with the octopus because he's all rounded edges. So fussy cutting this is pretty quick and simple to do. Hello, Janice. Hi, Barb. Hi, Carol. Thank you all for watching. We've got this project here, and you can really see the shine on that paper once it kind of hits the light there. And I'm using the rounded rectangle punch to create our own patterned background. And then this little "you octopi my thoughts," it's really funny. I love the punny sentiment to go along with this. So this one, it will look a little different each time you make it because of the Designer Series paper. Depending on exactly where you punch on the paper, it may just look a little bit different, but it's still a fun way to use up some scraps of paper you may have, or just if you're doing a mass amount of cards, especially at Christmas time. This is a really good layout. Uh-oh, Carol can't hear me now. Can anybody else not hear me? What is going on? Let's see. Can anybody else not hear me? Oh no, now we don't have any sound. Let's see. If you can hear me, thumbs up. If you can't hear me, thumbs down or type a comment. Hopefully you can hear me. I don't know what's going on this morning. First we have video problems, now we have audio problems. Okay, Lucia says she can still hear me. Okay, that's good, so we're just gonna keep going. Carol, if you can't hear me, maybe refresh your Facebook, or this is all recorded. So if it is, if you can't hear me, it is all recorded, so you can come back and watch it, and hopefully then it'll pick up the sound for you. But everybody else says they can hear me, so we'll just keep going. Okay, so that's our second project we're gonna work on. This is my favorite this week. Again, that Scenic Coast Designer Series paper. Hit the light, you got some of that pearl shine right in there. Okay, Carol can hear me on YouTube, just not Facebook. I don't know what's going on. Technology, gotta love it. We're using the Spotlight on Nature dies here, and then Strawberry Slush is one of my favorite colors, so we're going to use that as well. So let's go ahead and jump into our projects here today. The first one we're going to work on is this birthday card here, the Many Happy Wishes on Your Birthday. So for this project, we are going to need a piece of basic white cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So we are just going to use our, well, if I had my bone folder, there it is. Going to use our bone folder to crisp up our line here. And a piece of that Scenic Coast Designer Series paper. Here's the back side. So really you could use either side and it would be a beautiful project, but because we want this octopus to look like he's at the bottom of the ocean, we are going to flip it and use this side here. Now we are going to just glue this on first, and we're going to stamp directly onto the paper. Now with the pearl side, you can stamp on it. Just make sure to give yourself a little bit of time to let that ink dry, just because with it being, that pearl shine, it could take a little bit longer to dry just because the paper isn't slick all the way. So let's poke a hole in this and see if it works. Come on, I got a glue boogie in there. Oh, that's a lot of glue. We're just gonna, you know, this is what happens when you do live crafting. You get no sound, no audio, you get glue everywhere. That's okay. That's, you know, this happens to everybody with glue, and we're just gonna do that, and we're just gonna dab a little this off and kind of spread it around. There we go. Perfect. And you'll never know. That's how I say craft happens, and that's what craft happens means. You just get everything everywhere, and that's how you really know it's a homemade project. All right, so we've got our paper on there finally with our glue working. We have a spare piece of basic white cardstock. That's going to be our sentiment, so we're going to work on that as well. But first we're going to do the stamping down here. And on this stamp set, we're going to use these small little polka dots, as well as this kind of seaweed and the seaweed right here. So we are going to use lots of ink colors here today. So let's get all those out. These are for all of our cards here today. We're going to use all of these plus basic black. So lots of colors. First, we're going to start off with pecan pie. That's going to be our sand at the bottom of our ocean. And we're just going to stamp it 3 times. They are going to overlap each other, but that's quite all right. I mean, sand overlaps each other all the time. And we can put that away. For our seaweed, we're going to use Old Olive. And I am going to take a spare piece of paper because we're going to stamp off one of the seaweeds. So this tall seaweed, we're going to stamp off. We're going to stamp on our piece of grid paper here first. And then we're going to stamp it right onto our paper. And that just kind of makes it look like you have the background and the foreground with the seaweed. Oh, we need to leave that one open and get our other seaweed out here. Let's find it. There we go. Now this one we're not going to stamp off. We're just going to stamp it right onto the card. Okay, and then now we can close up our Old Olive. On a spare piece of basic white, great use of scraps here, we're going to stamp our octopus in Strawberry Slush. There we go. And where's he at? There he is. Thank you, Carol. She says the cards are cute. I had a lot of fun with this stamp set. I like the little faces on it that you can put. It's really fun. And while we have Strawberry Slush open, we're also going to do our sentiment that says, many happy wishes on your birthday. So let's find that. And this is just a spare piece of cardstock. It's 5/8 of an inch wide. And then you can just stamp your sentiment and then trim off the edges when you're done. Okay, Strawberry Slush off to the side. We're also going to stamp the birthday hat, and that's in Coastal Cabana. Little cute birthday hat right here. And the balloon is Gorgeous Grape. Now, when you photograph Gorgeous Grape, it looks black on pictures. No matter how many times I tried to change like the contrast and the saturation, it just was turning out black for me, really, really dark. So that is Gorgeous Grape for the balloon. And then we need the string, which is right there. That is gonna be black. So we do have one thing here that's black. But no matter how much I tried to play with the photo editing on it, it just would not come out that deep purple color. It just was so dark. So if you look at the picture, it'll be dark, but it's definitely not. All right. Oh, the last thing we need to do is the cute little face. That's in basic black. And you can't have the octopus without that. And one last little thing I forgot. You can see here, there's kind of like a little shading on his head. That is strawberry slush as well. When you double stamp like strawberry slush on strawberry slush, you're gonna get that darker imaging. So there we go, right on top of our little guy. Okay, we can fussy cut these all out, and then we're just gonna assemble it. So let's see, it is almost the end of summer. School starts here tomorrow. I don't have any kids, so doesn't really matter for me when school starts, but school starts here tomorrow. So if you guys did anything exciting this summer, let me know in the comments. Let's see, what did we do exciting this summer? Well, at the beginning of the summer we went to Japan. That was really fun. I shared my travel journal from Japan on here, so if you haven't seen that video yet, you can go and watch that on my YouTube channel. I did a whole full travel journal of everywhere we went, and it was a lot of fun to make that. I never made a travel journal before, so putting that together was a lot of fun. I got a ton of stationery stickers and like washi tapes and stuff in Japan, so I used that in my travel journal. So there is our octopus. Like I said, very easy to cut him out. The hardest one to cut out is gonna be this little bow tie. So let's see here. Only because it's so thin, the little like balloon string. Oh, I wanted to share it with you guys. My husband and I like to watch movies and stuff, and if you have Netflix, I highly suggest the Little House on the Prairie show. I don't really like historical movies and stuff like that, but I really liked this show, how they filmed it, and just I know my dad read me the books when I was younger, but I don't really remember them because it was so long ago. But I loved the Little House on the Prairie show, and my husband loved it as well too. Normally we don't like a lot of the same type of TV shows, and he really liked this one. So highly suggest it, Little House on the Prairie on Netflix. It's 8 episodes, really easy watch. And there's gonna be a second season, so I'm very excited. But it made me start listening to the books again. So I started Little House in the Big Woods this morning. So I am excited to listen to those again. Hello, Jill. Okay, so we've got all of our octopus pieces cut out. You can see how quick that came together, very easy. This wouldn't be a project that I would say to mass produce, just because you have to fussy cut all those octopus out. And that could take a little bit. But if you have time and you want to make one of these little guys, it's still a fun project. All right, so I just glued the hat on it, and what we're gonna do is we are going to flip the little balloon banner over, kind of figure out where you want it to be in his hand, and we're gonna take just a small piece of Scotch tape. Because that is so thin, if I were to try to glue that, you saw how glue I used this earlier, how much glue went everywhere. So just a little bit of Scotch tape will hold it in his hand, and then you can glue the balloon down. Barb says she watched it and enjoyed it too. I really enjoyed it. Just the filming of it. I liked the way they portrayed the natives and how they had their Osage language, and just to learn a little bit maybe more about their customs and everything. So I really enjoyed it. So if you get the opportunity to watch Little House on the Prairie, highly suggest it. All right, we've added all of our little dimensionals to the back, and we're just going to glue them on there. And for our sentiment, like I said, this was just a scratch piece of basic white cardstock, and all I did was measure the width of it to be 5/8 of an inch. I stamped my sentiment, and then I'm just going to trim down the edges because it's a little too long. So a great use of extra paper you may have. And we're going to add some liquid glue to the back and kind of tuck it under the balloon here. And make sure it's on there straight. And as a final touch, I'm going to use, these are the Shimmering Dots embellishments. They come in 3 different colors: Coastal Cabana, Lemon Lime Twist, and White. And they have kind of like iridescent flakes in them. And we're going to use these like they are bubbles. So we've got 3 here and then 3 here down in the corner. So what we're going to do is take 2 of the large dots, 1 of the small one, and we're going to create this little bubble pattern here. Oh, that came right out. There we go. So this was really fun. I like these the clear ones, because if you wanted to, you could color them with Stampin' Blends to match your project, but bubbles are clear, so we went with the white ones. And that is it's fuzzy. I don't know why it's fuzzy here. We'll just hold it down here so it's in view. We've had lots of technical problems today. So we are just going to hold it down here, so hopefully it kind of comes into focus a little bit. I don't know what's going on, but you can see here's the project in focus there. It's not as close up, but there is our first project today, featuring the Thoughtful Octopus stamp set. Like I mentioned, no coordinating products to go along with this, so it's fun to pull in items from different suites and bundles to make our project and work with what you have. So that's an added bonus there as well. Okay, our next one, we are gonna do this fun kind of designer series pattern background. So for that, we're gonna need 3 pieces of the Scenic Coast Designer Series paper. I've showed this paper before. It's really beautiful and I love the way it looks. So we need 1 piece of that, 1 of this one with kind of the more orangey pattern, and this one, if I can get it, there we go. So even though they all look similar here, once you kind of punch them out and kind of isolate certain areas, they all look different. So what we're gonna do is take all 3 pieces, and this is the rounded rectangle punch. I love this because it goes with so many different things and you can really use it on a variety of projects. That's how I like to purchase my supplies. I like them to be used for a multitude of items and occasions rather than just one kind of simple thing. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take all 3 pieces and we are going to punch 1 thing here. Next, I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and right at the top of that piece, we are going to trim off our designer series paper. So now you could use this for other projects because you still have this beautiful sunrise sunset look. So we're just going to put those off to the side because we can reuse those. And I'm just going to take my scissors, trim off that, and then we're going to punch the rest of this. So you are gonna need 3 punches from each, well, total, to be able to create this look. There we go. And now we can assemble our project. Move some of this stuff out of the way here. So we have a piece of Night of Navy cardstock, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. There we go. Just use that bone folder to crisp up our line, and then we're gonna set this aside. I have a piece of basic white cardstock. This is 4 by 5 1/4, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay out our pieces of cardstock. So what I wanna do is kind of, in the middle here is gonna be this piece with that orange kind of tone to it. So I wanna pick out all of those pieces. So what we're gonna do is kind of set that up first. Now, I'm not gluing anything down just yet. I wanna make sure it's all kind of laid out first, and then we'll glue it all down. And we're just going to lay these out here. So I'm kind of adding all of the same pieces along the edge, so the designs are all the same. I really like that one. So we're gonna switch these two, because this one has this really pretty kind of pink tone to it, and I want that to show on the card. So we're just gonna rearrange. This is why you don't glue anything down first. There we go. And now we can kind of glue and make sure everything's lined up how we want it. So we're gonna start in the lower left corner. You don't wanna add glue to the whole thing, just the little corner here. And it's gonna hang off the edge. And then we're just gonna offset the rest of these here. You wanna make sure they're semi-straight. And then glue them all down. So we're kind of creating our own pattern paper from patterned paper, which is a really fun way to stretch your paper, make different uses of it. And then with this pearl paper, it's just gonna shine in the background. And I want that orange to show. So we're just gonna flip this one around, put that there. Okay, same thing on this one. And you kind of want the ends to be even with each other. Here we go. We all got woken up here at 4:30 this morning. Those, you know, those emergency notifications that come across your phone. We had one of those. There was a fire in one of the cities that we live in, and it wasn't like anywhere near us, but you know, they send out those emergency alerts, and it, you know, 4:30 in the morning scared us because my phone went off, my husband's phone went off, my husband's work phone went off. So yeah, been awake since about 4:30 this morning. Okay, so we've got all of our pieces, and you can see the shine there and how pretty that is. We're gonna flip it over and take our scissors and just cut so it lines up with our piece of basic white. This is why you don't want to add too much glue to the back, because if you do, you will just glue your paper down to your workspace. And like I had mentioned earlier, this is a great layout for Christmas cards, because we all have different patterns of Christmas paper and maybe some scraps of Christmas paper. So this is a great way to use up those little scraps that you may have, do a bunch of punches. You can do a variety of paper patterns too. They don't even just have to be 3 different patterns, and really kind of make your own background. All right, we are gonna add our liquid glue to the back here to glue this down. Flip it over and add it to the middle here. I already pre-punched a piece of basic white cardstock. This is with the 2.5 inch circle punch, and we're gonna clean off our octopus stamp, and we're gonna stamp this in Timid Tiger. I chose Timid Tiger because it coordinates with this designer series paper. If you're ever wondering what colors are in your designer series paper, on the package right below the name, it has the colors that are in the paper. So you can easily pull your cardstock colors, your ink colors from that little description there, and it'll tell you exactly what is in that. Oh, I need my grid paper just in case we go over the edge here. There we go, our little Timid Tiger. Excuse me. Okay, and we are going to stamp his little face in basic black, and also the sentiment, "You occupy my thoughts." So there's his little face and the sentiment. This is a piece of balmy blue cardstock, again with a 5/8 of an inch, just a scratch piece, and then you can trim it down to be the size that you need. Excuse me. We are gonna trim off the edges at an angle. My asthma's acting up. I apologize for that. Now we're gonna flip this over. We're gonna add dimensionals to the back of it. And we're gonna do 4 dimensionals here. And in between there, we're gonna take our stamp and seal, kind of do a diagonal piece of adhesive. And I'm gonna take the linen thread, and we are gonna do this kind of looping effect on the back here. Now, different people have different ways of doing this. What I like to do is just take my ribbon or thread and loop it around, stick it in the, let's make that loop a little tighter. There we go. Stick it in the adhesive, loop it around, and stick it in the adhesive. So once you flip it over, you have the little loops, and then we're gonna double loop that. So let's make that loop a little tighter and loop it around. There we go, and one more loop. So like I said, people do this a variety of different ways. This is just the way that I do it. And then you take your scissors and just cut the thread. Come on. And then your dimensionals will hold that thread in place. It's twisted right there. There we go. So here, when you flip it over, you've got the little threads there, and then your dimensionals will help it not kind of move all over. Move that off to the side, and our octopus is going to go right there. Now we have our sentiment. We're just going to glue right on top of our little guy here. And then for the final touch, in the upper left corner, we're going to add 2 of the clear little bubbles, the large size. And this is, oops, gotta go on straight there, right there. That is our second project today with the Thoughtful Octopus stamp set. I really like that little peak of the kind of strawberry slush color here. You have the orange to match the octopus, and fun little shine when the light hits the card. So I hope you guys like this one. This one is really fun to create. And like I said, they all look different no matter where you punch your designer series paper. It's gonna look just a little bit different every time you make a different project. So fun and unique as well. So there's our second project today. All right, our last one is my favorite this week. We have the Sending Lots of Love Octopus with Strawberry Slush for our card base. Now this is an easel card, so it's going to be 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Let's get all of our little pieces out here. So here is our card base, Strawberry Slush. I love this color. I will be sad when this color retires next summer. It's just a great color overall to have. So we have a piece of the Scenic Coast Designer Series paper. This is, let's see, I think it's 4 inches by 5 1/2. Sorry, 3 7/8 by 5 1/2. And we're gonna add our glue here. Right there in the middle of our card. I have a piece of vellum cardstock that we are going to kind of work from the top down a little bit. So I have 2 pieces of cardstock, Night of Navy and Basic White. This is the Spotlight on Nature's dies that I've already pre-die cut them with. And we're gonna add some glue to the middle of the Night of Navy, and we're gonna add this first to our piece of vellum. And we're gonna set that off to the side, and we're gonna stamp our octopus. So we need to clean it off. This time we're gonna stamp it in Balmy Blue, and that matches the designer series paper. So we've got our Balmy Blue for our little octopus guy. See, when you aren't fussy cutting him, it's really easy to stamp and really kind of quickly move through projects because you don't have to cut them out. Okay, so that can go off to the side. We've got our little face in our tuxedo black. So there's our little face. And then our sentiment, Sending Lots of Love, is also 5/8 of an inch wide. Again, scrap piece of Strawberry Slush. There we go. We can close that up. And then we are gonna stamp some little hearts around this octopus in Strawberry Slush ink. So with this little heart, you just wanna do light taps on the ink pad because you'll definitely pick up enough ink and you don't want any of those little halos on your project. So just super light taps on this Strawberry Slush. There we go. And now we're gonna add dimensionals to the back of this guy, but first we wanna glue down our piece of vellum. So we only wanna add glue right to where that piece of Night of Navy cardstock is, and the rest is kind of gonna hold it down on our project. Now with vellum, because it is a semi-opaque paper, that's why you don't want to add glue straight to it without anything showing in the front, because the glue will show through. All right, dimensionals on our octopus. We're gonna peel that off. And that'll go right there. Our sentiment, we're gonna trim the edges again at an angle and add dimensionals to the back of that. There we go. And that will hold down that piece of vellum as well right there. We're gonna add 2 pieces of the linen thread. We're going to tie it into a bow. That's good. I usually do about 7 inches just to give myself enough space to be able to tie it. And what I like to do is finger and thumb pull it to help it straighten out. I probably had too much thread here, but you get this whole roll and it lasts you forever. So that's quite all right that I have too much. We're gonna pull here and make sure our ends are lined up to create our bow, and then we're just gonna cut the tails all at the same time. I like to add mini glue dots to the back of my linen thread just to make sure that I'm not getting glue everywhere. And that's gonna go here in the lower corner of our sentiment. Now, I really liked the shimmering dots for the first 2 projects, but I felt for this one it needed something a little different. So these are the Sunset Sparkle Sequins. These actually coordinate with the Sunset Coast Designer Series paper. And these sequins kind of have a blue, balmy blue like tinge to them. So we're gonna take one of the large sequins and one of the small ones, and we're just gonna add it right there to the side. And that is our last project today, featuring the Thoughtful Octopus stamp set. This is my favorite this week. I love the strawberry slush. I love the sunset look in the background. It's so pretty. And offsetting those circles really make for a fun project too. All right, let's bring in all of our projects that we worked on today, and you can let me know which one is your favorite. Do you like the strawberry slush, the Night of Navy octopus, or our birthday octopus? Let's get them all in frame there so you can see. Let me know which one. We have our strawberry slush, sending lots of love, our Night of Navy, you occupy my thoughts, or the many birthday wishes octopus. So very fun. I hope you guys like them all, but definitely the strawberry slush one is my favorite this week. All right, well, thank you everybody for joining me for another week of Makers Monday. I look forward to bringing you more projects next week. I'm excited because this Thursday I will be attending Hand Arty Korea, which is a handmade artist expo here in Seoul. And I'm excited to see what other artists in Korea bring to the handmade scene. I look forward to sharing photos of that event with you and really being able to enjoy the local culture. I hope you all have an amazing week, and I will see you next time.